First part happened in the classroom group chat and teacher meeting, and it was ordinary enough that I almost let it go. Maya asked me to cover for her before the first bell, then told the class I had started the drama. I was standing there with my phone in my hand, reading the message twice, while Nina from our class looked over and asked why my face had changed. Maya, the friend who leaked the message, was not loud at first. That mattered. Loud people are easier to challenge. They used a calm voice and just enough confidence to make me feel childish for questioning them. When I asked what they meant, they said I must have misunderstood the plan. Jules, who kept repeating Maya's version, backed them up 5 minutes later. They did not say I was lying. They said everyone was tired, everyone was stressed, and maybe I had missed a message. That sounded reasonable until I opened the thread and saw the message they meant had been sent after the problem started. I did not fire back right away. I typed 3 responses, deleted all of them, and walked away from the screen. My mistake was thinking the calmest person in the room was probably the fairest person in the room. That mistake bought them time. That night, I saved the first pieces of the screenshots, the timestamped edit, and the voice note. I did it badly at first, just screenshots and notes in the wrong order. But messy notes were better than letting someone else be the only person with notes. The next morning gave me the second piece. Jules repeated the lie in the group chat while Maya acted too hurt to answer direct questions. I remember the exact pause before I answered because I was deciding whether to sound easygoing or accurate. Easygoing had not helped me so far. I asked one plain question in writing: what time did that happen? Nobody answered it directly. Maya, the friend who leaked the message, answered around it. Jules, who kept repeating Maya's version, reacted with a thumbs up to their message. Nina from our class sent me a private text that said, "Check the timestamps." So I checked. I put the screenshots, the timestamped edit, and the voice note beside each other, and started making a timeline. Not a dramatic one. Date, time, who spoke, what changed, and what document or message showed it. If I could not point to it, I left it out. That was when I stopped calling it confusion. Maya, the friend who leaked the message, kept describing it that way, but the files did not move like confusion. The messages did not read like confusion. The timing kept helping the same people. That changed how I handled the rest of the day. I stopped explaining my feelings and started asking for times. People got slower when I asked for times. They had to pick a detail and stand next to it. The choice I made was to bring our teacher into it. I hated doing that because it meant admitting the normal route had failed. I still wanted someone to fix it casually, to send one honest message and make the whole thing smaller. Nobody did. I wrote the email 3 times. The first version was angry. The second version sounded like I was begging to be believed. The third version was boring enough to work. I attached the screenshots, the timestamped edit, and the voice note, and wrote the shortest summary I could manage. Our teacher replied with 2 questions. Where did this start, and what do you want me to check? That was when I knew I had sent it to the right person. Not how do you feel, not why are you upset, not can everyone calm down. Where did this start? I gave the starting point as Maya asked me to cover for her before the first bell, then told the class I had started the drama. I gave the second point as Jules repeated the lie in the group chat, while Maya acted too hurt to answer direct questions. Then I wrote the sentence I had been avoiding. I think the current version leaves out the work I actually did, and the choices other people made. When I walked into the empty classroom after last period, I had the papers clipped in order and my phone charged. I also had a headache from not eating, which I remember because it made the fluorescent light feel personal. The empty classroom after last period was smaller than I wanted it to be. Our teacher sat at the head of the table. Maya, the friend who leaked the message, sat across from me. Jules, who kept repeating Maya's version, sat beside them and kept looking down at her phone. Nina from our class took the chair closest to the door. Our teacher let Maya, the friend who leaked the message, speak first. They gave the version they had clearly practiced. Everyone tried. The situation got messy. I was making it personal because I did not like being corrected. They did not raise their voice once, which made interrupting feel almost rude. Then our teacher asked them to explain the leaked private message. They gave a quick answer. I put the first page down and said the time on that answer did not match the message. I did not add anything after that. I let the page sit there. Jules, who kept repeating Maya's version, tried to help them by saying the exact timing was not the point. Our teacher said timing was the only thing we were checking first. That sentence changed the room, more than anything I said. By the end, our teacher asked Maya, the friend who leaked the message, and Jules, who kept repeating Maya's version, to wait outside while the pages were copied. I stayed in my chair after they left because my legs did not feel trustworthy yet. What happened next was not instant. The teacher stopped treating it like gossip, made Maya correct the class record, and moved our project group. Nobody gave me some huge apology. I got one awkward email and a lot of people suddenly acting like they had always wanted clearer records. Maya, the friend who leaked the message, avoided me afterward. Jules, who kept repeating Maya's version, sent one message that said she hoped we could all move forward. I did not answer right away. Moving forward is easier to request after someone else has done the dragging. Nina from our class checked on me later in the hallway. She did not give a speech. She just said, "I am glad you kept the times." I laughed too hard at that, and then had to pretend I was fine. The small fallout kept showing up for days. People who had accepted the first explanation suddenly asked more careful questions. Messages got clearer. Plans that used to live in someone's memory started appearing in writing. The part one still think about is the first scene. Maya asked me to cover for her before the first bell, then told the class I had started the drama. It looked small from the outside. Most things do before you see where they are going. The first ordinary day after it felt stranger than the meeting. I woke up expecting another message about the leaked private message. There was nothing. Just a normal inbox, a normal cup of coffee, and the weird quiet that comes after you stop bracing for someone else's version. I checked the folder anyway. That annoyed me. I wanted to be the kind of person who could close a folder and never look back. Instead, I opened it 3 more times that week, not because anything had changed, but because my body had not caught up to the fact that the worst part was over. Nina from our class joked that I had become allergic to vague messages. She was not wrong. If someone wrote, "We all agreed," I asked who all was. If someone wrote, "Later," I asked what time. It made me sound more difficult for a while. It also made my life much easier to understand. One person told me I should have handled it privately. I asked which part they meant. The part where Maya, the friend who leaked the message, changed their story. The part where Jules, who kept repeating Maya's version, backed it. Or the part where I finally brought our teacher the records. They did not answer that. The funny thing is that I did try private first. Private is where I asked the first question. Private is where I waited for the direct answer. Private is where the answer got softer and stranger. By the time it reached the empty classroom after last period, private had already failed. I kept remembering small details from the room. The sound of a chair leg scraping. The way Jules, who kept repeating Maya's version, stopped looking at her phone. The way our teacher said timing first. Those are the details that made the ending feel real afterward. The consequence changed other people too. Not forever, probably, but enough. I watched someone else ask for a timestamp the next week, and nobody laughed. That felt like more of a win than any dramatic punishment would have. I do not want to become suspicious of every mistake. People forget things. People miss messages. People panic. I still believe that. What I do not believe anymore is that confidence deserves more weight than the record. If someone asks about it now, I try not to dress it up. I say Maya, the friend who leaked the message, did this. Jules, who kept repeating Maya's version, said that. I sent this, and our teacher checked that. The plainer I keep it, the less room there is for people to make it about my personality. I wish I had trusted the plain sequence earlier. It would have saved me from trying to sound reasonable to people who were already talking around me. I still have one screenshot saved outside the folder. I know that sounds excessive. Maybe it is. But it is not there so I can keep fighting. It is there because sometimes I need to remember the first moment I stopped letting the easier explanation move faster than me. The next time a similar situation started, I did not wait for it to become huge. I asked the small question early. Who said that? What time? Where is it written? The problem either cleared up or showed itself. Both outcomes were better than guessing. I do not miss the adrenaline. I do not miss the private messages or the rehearsed explanations. I do not miss trying to sound calm enough to be believed. These days, I would rather have one awkward timestamp than 10 smooth explanations. What stayed with me was how ordinary being expected to protect a friend while the whole class laughed at the wrong person looked while it was happening. Nobody announced they were building a false version. They just made one convenient choice, then another, while I tried to stay pleasant. Pleasant has its place. I am still pleasant when people earn it. But I do not use pleasant as a substitute for checking anymore. A few weeks later, I found the first note I had made about the leaked private message. It was messy, half a sentence at a time, written too hard into the paper. I kept it because it reminded me the first version had not been in my head. It had been in the room. Our teacher never became warm with me, and I did not need that. What I needed was someone willing to check the screenshots, the timestamped edit, and the voice note in order. Warmth without checking had already cost me enough. That is enough for me. Not because everyone became fair. Because the next time somebody tries to hurry me past the part one actually saw, I know not to move so fast.
More Reddit-style drama stories, subscribe to Voice It. If you want another one now, choose a story on screen.